How the Philippines became poor and how it can become rich. 300 years ago, the Philippines wasn't poor. It was one of the busiest trading hubs in Asia. Gold, spices, silk, and porcelain moved through its ports long before any colonial flag was raised. So what happened? The short answer, 3 centuries under Spain, then nearly 50 years under the United States, reshaped the economy around exporting raw materials, sugar, coconut, hemp, rather than building local industry. Wealth left the islands. Land ownership concentrated into the hands of a small elite. And that pattern didn't disappear when independence came in 1946. It just changed hands. After World War II, the Philippines was actually one of the most promising economies in Asia, second only to Japan. But the following decades told a different story. Political power stayed close to a small number of wealthy families. Infrastructure lagged. Debt piled up, especially during the martial law years of the 1970s and early 80s, when billions in foreign loans financed projects that enriched the connected few more than the country as a whole. By the time democracy was restored in 1986, the Philippines was saddled with debt, a shrinking industrial base, an education and health system straining to keep up with rapid population growth. Meanwhile, neighbors like South Korea, Taiwan, and later Vietnam invested heavily in manufacturing, education, and infrastructure, and grew rich. The Philippines, by contrast, exported its most valuable resource, its people. Today, over 10% of Filipinos work abroad, sending home nearly $40 billion a year. That money keeps millions of families afloat, but it's a patch, not a foundation. A nation that exports its workforce instead of building industries at home will always struggle to convert its people's talent into national wealth. Add to this decades of underinvestment in infrastructure, an inconsistent business climate, and corruption that quietly taxes every level of the economy, and you get the Philippines many people picture today, a country of enormous potential that never quite closes the gap. But here's the turn, because the story isn't finished. The Philippines holds real advantages few countries can match. A young, English-speaking, tech-savvy population, a strategic location at the heart of Asia's shipping lanes, a thriving digital and outsourcing sector already worth over $30 billion a year, and a diaspora of educated, skilled workers who increasingly want to invest back home, not just send remittances. So, what does becoming rich actually take? First, it means turning remittances into investment, using that diaspora wealth to fund small businesses, real estate, and local manufacturing, not just consumption. Second, it means building real infrastructure, ports, rail, broadband, and power, so goods and data can move as easily as money already does. Third, it means strengthening institutions. Faster courts, transparent procurement, and consistent rules that make the country genuinely easy to invest in, not just easy to talk about investing in. Fourth, it means doubling down on what's already working. Business process outsourcing, IT services, renewable energy, and modern agriculture, while climbing the value chain instead of only exporting raw labor and raw materials. And finally, it means investing seriously in education and health so the next generation doesn't have to leave the country to build a good life. None of this is easy, but it isn't a mystery either. Japan rebuilt from rubble. South Korea went from poorer than the Philippines in the 1960s to one of the richest nations on earth. Vietnam transformed itself in a single generation. There's no reason the Philippines can't write its own version of that.